second you get the vibe, don't ignore it. The second you get a sign, don't ignore it. It's obvious, and you guys, don't let your feelings make it not so obvious. So personality got thrown out of the way, and now everything else that's not personality, that's not involving who you are and how your soul is pure, soul is beautiful, all of that is out of the picture. A lot of guys get too carried away with actually trying to find a good girl, and you know, it shouldn't happen like that where you're actually literally searching for the girl that you need. What I do, what is up, my BBossBaddies and my bad man fellas? It is your girl Bosana, and welcome BBossArmy. So as you guys can tell by the title, today we are going to be talking about how to find a good girl. I never did a topic like this, and I don't talk about good girls because there is not a lot of them out here, so it's kind of a topic that you can't say too much about. But today I have 5 tips for you guys, so make sure you watch until the end. Obviously I'm going to say this later on in my video, but you guys know, make sure you check out my Patreon. I just dropped a video on there, and I'm going to be dropping another one very soon, which in like 2 days. And then of course, make sure you check out my second YouTube channel. And yes, make sure you give my videos big thumbs ups if you enjoy them, and make sure you comment down types of videos that you like to see, because if you know me, I really do pay attention. So let's actually get started. So we start from 5, go down to 1. So that means what? You gotta watch until the end to get the number 1 thing. Okay, so oh, by the way, you guys, consultations are back. So if you haven't booked with me and you would like a consultation, head on to my email and we'll go from there. Okay, you guys, so let's actually get into it. Number 5 on my list is eliminate any that aren't. Okay, now this is very simple, but this is very important because I just actually had a consultation, and I remember saying that a lot of times guys get caught up with their feelings and get invested into a female, and now they're trying to find a good girl, but because their females are there, or their feelings are there, the female is the one that's actually making him feel like she's a good girl, and that's almost becoming an illusion for the man. And so all these thoughts of, okay, yeah, I found a good girl, and maybe she needs to just work on this right now, or maybe she's not a hoe and she's just going through a phase, or this and that, just trying to make excuses for her behavior or how she's been acting. Like, that's all gotta stop, because what's happening is that you guys are giving chances to girls that are for the streets, girls that are thoughts, and girls that are absolutely not good girls, thinking and hoping that it can get to this point. And there's a rare, slim chance that it can get to that point, but like I just said, it's rare, it's slim. So it's better off that you guys just take out the ones that are wasting your time. The second you get the vibe, don't ignore it. The second you get a sign, don't ignore it. It's obvious, and you guys, don't let your feelings make it not so obvious. So number 5, make sure you eliminate these girls that are coming into your life and that are basically wasting your time, and they're actually not good girls, and you have to just snap out of it and realize it and then take them out. And just to wrap it up with number 5 is that when you do that, it just gives you a better chance. Although it might be so hard to find a good girl, it'll give you such a better chance, a closer chance to actually find one, because now you're not entertaining one that's already wasting your time, right? So do that, you guys. Number 4 on my list is stop looking in the wrong places. Now, I've said this probably once in like all of my videos. I remember saying something about, you know, guys are going to a strip club trying to find a wife, you know. Now, I'm not going to discredit any girl for their jobs. Absolutely, there's certain jobs out there you're not really going to find a good girl in that type of field. But what I'm trying to say is give yourself a better chance. The whole idea of actually finding, and not necessarily searching, but finding a good girl is actually going to a place where there is potential for a good girl. So don't put yourself in a place where you know girls that are doing things like that or around certain things like that are literally girls that are not good for you, not good girls at all. So, you know, if you're going to an event where it's mainly guys and there's 1-2 girls, you kind of have an idea like what's really going on in her head or why she's here, right? So don't expect to find a girl in a place like that. And like I just mentioned, the strip club, like, do you really think you're gonna find a good girl in the strip club? Come on now. There's certain places that don't put yourself in a situation, and there's actual certain places where you can put yourself in that situation and find a good girl. But you know, it's almost supposed to be a thing that happens just instantly, because a lot of guys get too carried away with actually trying to find a good girl. And you know, it shouldn't happen like that where you're actually literally searching for the girl that you need. You should just be out here and it happens that you find the good girl or the girl for your dreams. Okay, So let's move on to number 3 on my list, and this is make personality to be number 1 thing. Okay, so this is very, very important because a lot of times guys that want to claim certain stuff on them, guys are alphas, just let's just say guys in general, a lot of times they get caught up with their feelings or find a girl that they feel like potentially this could be a good girl, but along the way they made it to seem like the materialistic things are what's so important. They made it to seem that status is the number 1 thing. Like all these other things, they made it to seem like it was very, very important to them. And then also it brought the attention to girls to feel the same way, and that's how they started looking at them. So personality got thrown out of the way, and now everything else that's not personality, that's not involving who you are and how your soul is pure, soul is beautiful, all of that is out of the picture. And now you are stuck with a girl that looks at you and cares about how much money you make, what job you work, all your status, all of that. And now it falls into hypergamy, and you guys know about hypergamy, how women love to date higher up. Do not get caught up in trying to impress her so hard, because remember, at the end of the day, all that stuff, if it's gone, what's gonna happen? They're gonna be gone with it. So you have to make sure you are actually giving what's the genuineness in you, and that is you, the inside of you. Okay, that will never be gone. That's always going to be you, and that's always going to be the real. So make sure you make that to be the number 1 thing, and have somebody actually fall for who you are and not what you got, because that's not real. Make sure, like we always say, the feelings have to reciprocate, and you guys are putting in the same work. So if you guys are going to be going on dates, where's the 50-50? Or you guys can split it in a different way, right? On your social media, you had this nice car that cost 20, 30, 40 bands, right? And now your personality doesn't mean nothing. So remember, last thing to wrap up that number is girls will fall in love for anything but you. And those are the girls that you guys got to the point where you caught feelings, and now you're keeping her around and there's no actual real connection. Now you're questioning if she's actually a good girl. Most likely no, because she needs to love who you are. Okay, so let's move on to number 2 on my list. Number 2 is stay distracted. Okay, so number 2 is obviously, of course, very important, but number 2, as far as trying to find a good girl, like I said, you have to make sure it comes to you. It has to just happen naturally. Trying to force it so hard is not really gonna get you far. That's why a lot of people on dating sites expect to find their soulmate, but they don't. And that's really because it's almost like forcing it. The instant connection is supposed to happen. So stay focused on you. When you have a girl come into your life, that's another best way for you not to allow your feelings to get the best of you, and then you getting to the simp ways of trying to please her so hard and all of that. And she becomes like a girl that's just using you now and manipulating you, instead of actually you guys growing and being a couple and all of that. So if you get too invested into a female, then you're gonna be lost. You're not gonna know if she's a good girl. You're not, because now it's just like you're trying to impress her. You're trying the most to actually get her or be with her. And instead, now you don't even know if she's here for you or for who you are inside or for the things that you have. You won't know all of that. That's why it's so, so important when people start dating, is that they still have their own lives. They're still doing their own thing, and they still have a connection with their own selves. And I always say, yeah, you want to become one, but you're still all individuals. We're all individual people. We have relationships. We're still individual people. You can have one relationship, right? But we're still all individual people. So just keep in mind, when you are trying to find a good girl, don't try to do so much. And if you're gonna put effort, always put it towards yourself first, until it's actually at a place where legit has to be 50, like a real marriage, not like these marriages out here like Cardi B and Offset. Like, that stuff is all games, and there's so many games going around right now. Okay, so let's move on to the last thing. Very simple but very important. Not too many people talk about it, but I'm gonna tell you, make sure you guys pray for what you want. God got us, and it's very, very important for you guys to express what you actually want. If you want a good woman, God can bless you with that. So don't just get so focused on trying to find it yourself. Don't get so focused on the whole idea, oh, I need a woman. Ask, pray, and there you go. Leave it at that. And back to manifesting, the same thing. You ask, you know, you're gonna make it happen in a sense of you're gonna be open to find a woman, like things like that. And lastly, when you are trying to find a good woman, don't look at all women to be evil. Just be very smart with it, okay? I hope this video helped you guys out, and if it did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Make sure you follow me on my social media. Make sure you check out my Patreon, and of course, make sure you check out my second YouTube channel. You guys will see me in my next video. Bye, you guys.